1051.
Power 1051 is the Breakfast Club. Good morning. We have a special guest in the building.
A
now,
legend.
Say all his names, Charlamagne.
The ruler Zigzag Zigala.
Okay.
Bobby Digital.
Prince Rakeem.
Yes. The RZA is here.
Everybody else might know him as the RZA. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you,
Or maybe
man.
Mr. Diggs.
Oh, that was my credit card.
Well,
AKA get a lot of money, whether it's Hollywood, whether it's acting, whether it's music.
How have you remained relevant all these years,
directing,
RZA, man?
producing.
You said relevant.
Yeah.
Because I'm intelligent.
Absolutely.
Intelligence is always relevant. You know what I mean?
Got you.
All right, so the main thing right now is we are promoting this Man with the Iron Fist, right? The soundtrack and the movie which you directed.
Yes, ma'am.
And not only did you direct it, you came up with the whole idea for it.
Yep, it was a story that bubbled in my head for a while. Then I got it with my boy Eli Roth, and we wrote it into a screenplay.
Eli Roth is the one who did Hostel, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be very gory because I saw the trailer.
We definitely got a little bit of that gore in there for the gore freaks. We got mad action. We got love in there for the lovers, and we got it's everything in there. It's like a nice big box of cereal.
Oh, gosh.
That sounds like it's interesting.
Have you seen the trailer?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And you filmed it all in China?
Yeah, we filmed most of it in China. There's like a little bit of American scene in there on a flashback, but yeah, I spent like 150 days in China.
And you are starring in this also.
Yeah, I'm one of the cast members in there.
So you must speak a
Not a
little
game.
Chinese then. If you was there that long.
Ni hao. Nah.
Do you love Hollywood like you love music? Like, do you love the film industry and television the way you love music?
Oh, definitely. To me, music and film have the same wavelength. You know what I mean? A lot of people may have not comprehended that, but I'm one of the kids that did comprehend it. It all activates on the same, model. When I was making Wu-Tang albums, I was actually trying to make a movie. So when you listen to it, you was like Cuban Links. You felt like you was
Absolutely
getting a movie in your head.
Right.
So now that I kind of rose above that, I'm making physical movies now with hip hop music sound, as a backdrop to it. So
That's crazy because I was working out the only book for Cuban Links and Liquid Swords the other day, and I said to myself, Wu-Tang was making movies before it was popular to say, "Yo, we making a movie."
yeah, that was my philosophy back then. Was trying to make something. You put the CD in your car, or tape in your car, and you feel like you got like a little hour movie. But now with the Man with the Iron Fist, to me, this feels as good as 36 Chambers.
Right.
And I mean, I really feel proud of what I put in there. And I think when the fans get to see this flick, it's going to kind of revitalize, to me, the whole industry in a sense. Because what I did for what I had for my resources is really like going right back to that first 36 Chambers album.
I have a
RZA's
dream.
here.
Oh, go ahead. What do you think?
RZA's here. You want to holler at him, 800-585-1051. When we come back, I want to talk about Wu-Tang a little bit. You know what I want to talk about? What I always wanted to know? When I say that, you don't say that. A lot of people at times, a lot of the Wu-Tang members always said foul stuff at you at different times or how they thought about you, but they never touched you. Like, it was like, when you get to all together, they hate you. Like, nobody has ever touched RZA. You
Don't
never
look at
heard a
me.
story about RZA got a black eye, or RZA broke his leg.
That's because RZA had them spike rings.
But we'll talk about it when we come back. RZA's here, 800-585-1051. The RZA's here. It's the Breakfast Club on Power 1051. It's Power 1051. It's the Breakfast Club. The RZA is here. You want to holler at him, 800-585-1051. Now, Wu-Tang.
Bong bong.
Now, you created Wu-Tang. How did you, well, first of all, will there ever be another Wu-Tang album?
I don't know, what I mean? I know the 20th year anniversary is coming up, you know what I mean? Some of the brothers we've been talking about potentially going back in, maybe do a world tour. Just one more, I say like one last hurrah to close the book, you know what I mean? 20 years is a long time for a hip hop artist, definitely to be in the business, but for any artist, you know what I mean? Usually 3 to 5 years is the run and you're gone.
Right.
But we've been doing what we've been doing, being successful with it, feeding our families for 20 years with this.
Who's aboard for it and who's not aboard?
Right now, I think all the brothers are aboard, though. I talk to everybody. They're like, yo, get it cracking. You know what I mean? Get the cash rule correct, kid. And
I know, that's what it really comes down to.
You gotta
right?
get that
Let's
cash
money
rule.
right.
Do you want to do one, though? Because, it seems like, you're all in the film and TV. Like, do you want to do another Wu-Tang album?
Some of them need the bread. You?
Let me explain something.
Not as much.
Wu-Tang is my heart. So even when I make movies and all that, I'm still coming from that same wavelength. So for me, it'll be a pleasure to do it,
And you are going to be executive producing Method Man's new album, right?
Yeah, Meth, go ahead and come on in the studio, yo.
Oh, gosh.
You know what I mean?
You ever listen to some of their albums and be like, that ain't it?
You mean like some of the new material?
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing I kind of pointed out. We all could point out to each other. When you spend, more time you spend away from somebody and you spend with other people, you lose the enthusiasm for what they doing. You know what I mean? So if I'm hanging with a bunch of well, I hang with a lot of actors and producers now. Then next thing your mind is into that world, and you're not hearing the world your brother is in. But we did a soundtrack recently for The Man with the Iron Fist, and basically every clan member came through and represented, and they ate it up, yo. They ripped. I mean, it's like you don't hear a flaw in none of the MCs. You know what I mean? So, and for me, it was good because it kind of made me fall back in love with their styles, especially like on there's a song on the soundtrack called 6 Directions of Boxing, where U-God set it off, and U-God is probably like an unsung member. He's ripping it, you know what I mean? And for me, I was like, yo, U-God seemed like he may be the new star of the band because he just has his sound was more untapped than the rest of them, you know what I mean? So you never know, but you got to take time and listen or spend time to enjoy something, you know what I mean? If you spend a lot of time, and like I said, I'm in China, I came home finding myself with a few Chinese karaoke songs on my iPod, you know what I mean? Because that's what I was around, you know what I mean?
Right.
I remember at one time there was some controversy over some of the members in interviews were saying they felt like they wanted that old RZA sound and style, the classic style, but they were saying that you wanted it to be different and kind of like be more modern and switch it up.
And well, you know what happened? I think, you know, I think I evolved as a musician. When I first started making music, I was a DJ who bought a sampler, who sampled the songs I would scratch, you know what I mean, and find obscure loops or weird things to put it all together. But I eventually grew to be a musician, whereas I could play the piano, play the drums, play the guitar, play flute or whatever. And so I just expanded my mind.
You said play flute. That's something you usually don't hear. Flute.
Blow right into it.
Pause.
Oh, damn, RZA.
But it's you know, I evolved. So when we started making records after that, it was more like, you know, you kind of going over here in space with it. I just think I was ahead of my time because if you listen to hip hop now, or you know, hip hop brothers coming on stage with guitars now, you know what I mean? So I'm always a few years ahead, I think.
Now I asked earlier about, you know, a lot of the members, I guess, thought that their money was never right with you. And sometimes they said things about you, but you've never got touched. And it was kind of weird because, you know, when you have brothers, and there's a problem, there's going to be a fight. You know, there's going to be a black eye, there's going to be a broken arm. You know, we could get over it later, but there was never any altercations with you? Like, nobody just say, let's just jump RZA?
Nah. I mean, you know, our love go deeper than the money, you know what I mean? And the money is always funny, you know, as far as, you know, misunderstanding where money went, how it came, you know what I mean? So, you know, I said this before and I say it again, you know what I mean? I didn't never tamper with nobody money, you know what I mean? And I don't owe nobody no money, you know? I pay all my bills, all the way down to, man, you know what I mean? I have no bills. My electric bill is paid, kid. I pay my bills.
Did you have to tell the brothers, like, look, you're not supposed to get as much as me. Stop looking in my pockets.
You know what? I had a conversation like that, like one time with a few brothers, in the sense of just to understand. Like, I'll just give you an example. I say, Ray, if you sold 1 million records, right, and you made let's say you made $1 million, and I'm the producer, I made $1 million, but you sold that 1 million records, but then I sold another 2 million with meth, another 1 million with RZA, another 1 million with Gravediggers. I'm, you know, as a producer and as an artist, I'm selling. I'm doing the most work. Where he may have 100 songs in his catalog, I got 600 songs in my catalog. You know what I mean? So of course, you know, to the naked eye, it looks like, wow, yo, you got all the cheese. Nah, anything I got comes from the work I put in. So you know, so right now you see, like, over the last 2 years, I spent time making a movie. You know what I mean? I took a lot from my family, a lot from myself, and a lot of energy. But at the same time, bong, the movie gonna come out, hit bong, and I'm gonna look even more healthier. But that comes from the work I put in.
Would there ever be a Wu-Tang movie?
Yeah, I got one I'm thinking about. Raekwon got one. He has some energy he been writing on it. So a few of us got ideas for it. I think a time will come we'll collaborate, put it together, and take the best story and put it out there.
Let me tell you my dream. My dream is to see a RZA Quentin Tarantino movie based off Only Built for Cuban Links. A gangster crime flick.
You want to see the gangster crime flick, huh, man?
and the way that Quentin does his movies, with you at the helm producing it, I think that'll be ill.
Well, what I'm striving to do for hip hop and the hip hop community is be a force in Hollywood, to whereas, you know, our voice could be heard. I mean, and shown on the screen. You know, I came into music as the Wu-Tang Clan, and I brought in a martial arts style of hip-hop, you know what I mean? So my first movie, of course, is going to reflect back to that. Like I said, this is like the 36 Chambers all over again. New York support it and the rest of the country go out and support it and get that capital built up for the kid. The kid gonna go back in there and probably go through the same trend of, you know, how Cuban Link came with the Godfather theme, how Liquid Swords kind of, to me, was more like eclectic, had the college mind to it, you know what I'm saying, mixed the samurai with it. Method Man to me was for all the children and women, you know what I mean? So all these different avenues that we traveled, you know what I mean, I'm looking to travel it again. But that's it's always based on, you know, the fans supporting you and y'all going out there buying those tickets and buying that popcorn in the theater. You know what I mean? And I ain't just saying, but I say I won't say go watch this movie just for that reason. I honestly made a good movie, yo.
And there's a lot of stars in this movie too, like Lucy Liu and Russell Crowe. The trailer looks fascinating, so I know I'm definitely going to see it. And you also are doing a tour, right, for the soundtrack? Yeah,
I'm gonna kind of go to a few cities and kind of promote the film, promote the music for the film. I felt it was best to go out and personally touch people instead of just, you know, getting on the phones and like, even if I have, you know, you call in to the Breakfast Club, no, I'm gonna come pop up, come live and see y'all. See
Angela, I appreciate that. No, because I was like, RZA's coming. I said, how late you think he's gonna be? And you were early.
Yeah, he was on time.
Yes, yeah, I'm known to be late.
You are known to be late. RZA's known to be days late.
That's that Hollywood money. That Hollywood money make you change.
Who excites you as a producer nowadays?
Man, yo, to be honest, there's so much good music out there. It's coming from so many vast sources. I'm not really up on all the names of the producers, but I was down at the BET Awards in ATL at the Young Jeezy party, and I mean, it must have played 20 songs that just had me just tip of my bottle going crazy.
Right. So you like down south music? You're not one of those, you know, a lot of artists from New York, especially the veterans, hate down south music. They think it's been the death of hip hop.
Let me explain something to you, kid. Down south music has always been a part of hip hop. You think Luke and 69 Boys, they just wasn't coming as lyrical as the brothers are doing with it now, you know what I mean? But nah, music is music. And you inside a club and that bass is hitting you, kid, and them girls are shaking that big bunker bunk, you're gonna enjoy the music, kid.
Absolutely. So did you study martial arts?
I studied many principles, you know what I mean, of martial art that I apply to my life as a man. Instead of just, you know, trying to punch and kick, you know, and use a sword, that ain't gonna happen. Kids, you know, they got gung fu out there. But
gung fu.
But I use the principles of martial art, you know, to carry my life.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, like, you remember when y'all first came out and, you know, you had all the different artists on different labels. Do you regret that, like not keeping everybody under a Wu-Tang Records umbrella?
That's a good question, bro. And that's actually a double-edged sword right there. In all reality, it was a good idea at the time, because what happened was we had the whole industry, whether it was Geffen, Elektra, BMG, Def Jam, everybody promoting the Wu-Tang sound. You know what I mean? And that sound, I think, needed to be out there because it wasn't it wasn't hip hop that was based on jazz. It wasn't hip hop, you know, that was based on house music. It was, you couldn't call it nothing but hip hop. You know what I mean? So it was good. But then as time go on, you'll see that some of the people who put all the things, conglomerated their music into one location, they made that big final sell, you know what I mean? So I think if I was to, you know, nowadays, I would keep everything under one umbrella because, you know, it's like keeping everything in one spot, you know. It can't cake up and become hot.
But for you guys, the whole business of it was so new to you. You know, when you first started with Wu-Tang, it was kind of like, all right, you know, people didn't really know what was going on. You just felt good, like, okay, we're getting some money. And so it was kind of like playing catch up after that because it was nobody really that you could look to as a model for what you're supposed to do.
I agree. And only a few people in the business back then would even talk to you. Always give respect to Shakim, you know, Latifah's manager, because he was the first dude to even tell me that, yo, you could get $1 million, kid. I was like, what, $1 million? Next day I went to the record company and said, I need $1 million, kid. But it was because something that he did and that he told me.
Right.
But I also would say that I think it was good. It's good to spread out your energy. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, and I don't know if y'all know, you know, I don't know what's going on nowadays in the business with everybody. But when you hear sometimes I read about the artists, their album can't come out. And like 50 got to go back and put his album back because the label what? Now you're telling me what I got to sell and how I'm selling it? When I had different labels rocking, if this one didn't want to put it out, I put it on that one or this one. It's always an outlet. But when you put all your eggs in one basket, sometimes it stops your outlet. And I think that's actually been hurting some artists, but it's been very, very lucrative for some artists.
You just can't predict what's going to happen.
Yeah, you got to be.
And then Wu Wear, you guys are you relaunching Wu Wear?
Wu Wear is always out there. You know, my brother Power, you know what I mean, one of the smartest dudes I ever met. you know, he's a tough dude too now. You know what I mean? But Power's actually a 12.9 reading level kid since the 6th grade. But he's such a New York thug type. You know what I mean? People don't understand him. But he's always out there keeping some kind of Wu-Tang.
Because it's hard to keep track of Wu wear, because it's like everybody's always in Europe, like somebody's launching something, and then people are doing like special lines, and I'm like, does this have anything to do with Wu-Tang, or are people just putting it out themselves?
Well, I will say this to you, Angela, is that the Wu-Tang logo and brand is the most bootleg brand in hip-hop, because the fans of Wu-Tang, you know, really took us to heart. You know, they got tattoos, they took it, some say like a cult following. So when you got somebody that's into you like that, they actually feel like they got the authority to, you know, yo, I just made this myself, kid. It's like, yo, it's the Wu. You know, it's like the gods and earths when, you know, when you know, you'll see the flag, you see a wooden flag. You know what I mean? A brother may have a button flag, or so because it becomes part of them. And I noticed throughout the world, whether from Europe, Brazil, it's many people selling Wu wear, making their own style of it, but the money doesn't come back to us. You know what I mean? But I don't ever get upset with it, because, you know, we always say Wu-Tang is for the babies, you know what I mean? So it's feeding somebody's baby.
Right.
Do you feel Wu-Tang and yourself as a producer get the respect y'all deserve as far as the whole hip-hop culture? Like y'all legacy?
I think depending on the time, some years it's there, some years it feel like it evaporates. You know how hip-hop is. We jump into the flavor of the day sometime, or, you know, and, you know, it's a very competitive type of sport. So everybody who's doing it think they're the best at it, you know what I mean? So that's a natural thing. That's, you know, every MC, even MC Hammer thought he was the best. You know what I mean? So it's just a natural thing. But I do think that far as the sometimes, like, you know, I listen to like say if the radio is playing, you know, whether it's old school or flashing back, and they don't flash back to one of my joints. I'm like, oh, hold on, kid. You flashing back to this, man. You only sold 300,000. You playing special ed, kid. You got to throw. I got millions of records out there. That's the only thing. Sometimes I'll be like, yo, it don't make sense if I sold millions of records and I ain't hearing myself in a spin. You know, you don't hear, you know, Bring the Pain. You know what I mean? When Bring the Pain, that was a 2 million seller right there, yo. Don't, you know? But I may hear one of Gangstar records, and you know we love Gangstar, Premier, love them, but at the same time they only never went more than gold. So you can't forget that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't hear what they want to hear, and after a while we just gotta settle for what's being played. But it is what it is.
There's nothing like a Wu-Tang mix, though.
Absolutely
nothing
not.
like a Wu-Tang mix.
Would you say y'all the greatest group of all time?
To my knowledge, you know, to date, you know what I mean. Of course, it's you know, time still got to go on and other brothers to pop up. But so far, you know what I mean, you know, and I'm not taking nothing from Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel and them, who opened the door, Fearless 4, Cold Crush Brothers, who didn't really make it to record sale level. Not taking nothing from great groups like Outkast, Public Enemy, you know what I mean, EPMD, Run DMC, actually, you know what I mean. But to have the magnitude of that much talent in one group, you know what I mean, and that much personality, you know, it hasn't happened yet again.
I agree. I think Wu-Tang is the greatest group of all time. We say that all the time.
Yeah.
Well, Wu-Tang, RZA, we appreciate you stopping through.
Thank you.
The man with the iron fist.
The man with the iron fist. Can I say the date?
Yeah.
November 2nd, New York. You know what I mean? I want y'all to go out there, get your little $10, $12 together, and go watch my classic Kung Fu flick starring Russell Crowe, Lucy Liu. We got Jamie Chung, Pam Grier in the joint, kid. And myself, the RZA, Dave Bautista, Kung Lee, the man with the iron fist, in theaters November 2nd.
All right, it's the Breakfast Club on Power 105.1, and we're looking for this Breakfast Club movie too. So whenever you're ready, you know, tell your peoples and holler at my peoples.
Congratulations!
Absolutely.
That's a huge directorial debut for you.
And is it true Kanye's talking about marrying Kim K on this song, the white dress song on the soundtrack?
Oh, you gotta hear the song. He's killing it though. He did like a 40-bar verse on there.
All right, well, it's the Breakfast Club on Power 105.1.